and I want to go start something. I want to go start something on my own. I don't really know what it will be. I do know coaching will be a piece of it because that's naturally what I'm good at. And I knew I could go to the real estate industry and coach realtors. I knew how to help them. But he was okay with it. And so I ripped the Band-Aid and I was like, you know, no guarantee. My salary is zero because I'm going to go start my own business. And so that's tactically what I did that got me to where For the Love of was born 2.5 years ago.
Well, thank God for supportive spouses. Like
Yeah.
almost every day, I'm like, I'm burning the ships. And he's like, oh, here we go again.
Mompreneurs, it's not business, baby. It's business and babies. Whether you're rocking the carpool line, building your business during nap time, or dreaming big after bedtime, we've got the tools, tips, and strategies to help you grow your business. Grab a snack, your headphones, and enjoy this time with us because mom life and boss life deserve balance.
Kim is a dynamic keynote speaker, leadership trainer, business coach, and #1 best-selling author. After 25 years in real estate sales, recruiting, and brokerage leadership, including roles as CEO of multi-million-dollar companies, Kim followed her passion and founded For the Love of Flow, FLO, For the Love of, a personal and professional development company that grew to 6 figures in its first year. Through Flow, Kim has coached hundreds of business owners, spoken on over 30 podcasts, and has been hired by organizations to lead transformational training sessions, teamwork workshops, and keynote talks for audiences of 350 and more. She's known for her real-world strategies, motivational presence, and her ability to help high achievers create sustainable success without sacrificing their sanity. Kim's signature frameworks, like the PRP model and the CEO home system, combine mindset, strategy, and balance in a way that's both personal and practical. Her mission through Flow is simple: to inspire, empower, and promote action so others can live their best lives. For the Love of Life. A Wisconsin-based wife, mom, foodie, and self-proclaimed life adventurer, that is who Kim is. She brings humor, heart, and results to everything she does. Kim, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Linda. I need to take you with me wherever I go. Thank you for that amazing introduction.
Yeah, I'll be your hype girl. So Kim, how did you do all that?
Well, I mean, first of all, that didn't happen overnight, right? So it's just like when we all get, we're scrolling on social media, we see the results of a lot of years of choices, a lot of years of training, a lot of years of knowledge. So all of that did not happen overnight. And so really, where I am today, starting For the Love of, or Flow for short, because we all need an acronym, FLO, that actually came from a forced slowdown. So, I mean, I had been for the last 10 years in my broker management role, I had been coaching, I had been speaking at a very high level. But I ended up having a skiing accident back, gosh, wait, what's that now? Because we're going to be coming up on my 4-year lake anniversary, I call it. I call it my lake anniversary. I was out with my family in Breckenridge, Colorado, and broke my tibia, fibia, and my ankle, and ended up leaving with a bunch of hardware, and it ended up forcing me to slow down to really reflect on, okay, what do I want to do with the second best half of my life? And so that's how Flow was born, but it would not have happened without the forced slowdown. So I do talk a lot about this, the speed up, the slowdown to speed up, um, quite frequently. And so it was a gift and, it was a curse and a gift all at the same time. And so that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, there's sometimes things that happen in our lives, especially something so traumatic. Yeah, I notice it. People do either or. They either become bitter or they can become better. and you've chosen to become better for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a good saying. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, you go ahead. No, but that's what I've noticed. So, okay, I'm guessing you're stuck in your house. What did you go through and trying to see like what's this next level in my life? Right? Because we all have
I
those
bet.
moments that we pivot. And it looks like that's what happened. You had to pivot. There's this kind of like road that splits and we get to
Yeah.
decide what we wanted. Like, how did you come to your decision on like how you wanted to face this and how you wanted to come out on the other side of it? Like, what did you face during that time?
Yeah, that is such a good question, Linden. Honestly, even as women and mothers, we have phases. You don't have to have a traumatic skiing accident. If you think about, before marriage, before kids, then you have your kids, and then there's a phase and a decision and maybe a choice. And then they're in middle school, then they're in high school, and then maybe you're at a place where I am, where now we're semi-empty nesters and we're college. And so it can be any time. And for me, what happened though is I was knocking on the door of being an empty nester. I was knocking on the door of being 50 when this happened. And I think it was a combination of everything. And first of all, I binged watched Golden Girls. Like, I mean,
Before we
hello.
go into there, hold on. 50? Girl, you're looking like you're in your 20s. Like, what's your secret?
Oh, a whole lot of wrinkle cream, lots of water, lots of creatine, lots of potions and powders. Let's be honest here. And lipstick, girl. I am lipstick. Yeah.
No, I mean, your skin isn't, I don't see not a wrinkle in sight. I mean, I bet you get complimented all the time.
I do. Thank you. Thank you. We'll just
Oh my
it's in the
goodness.
genes. So
I feel like moms, we need to know some of this stuff. We need to know your beauty
Yeah.
secrets, Kim.
yeah. But yes, anyway, we have all those phases, to be honest, right? And so for me though, I mean, I did, I did binge watch for fun. And then I was like, oh, I gotta get some coloring books and I have to color. And then all of a sudden I did feel a little depressed. I was like, okay, what is happening? I'm not used to this. I'm naturally an optimistic person. My job is to lift people up, and this is what I do. And I read quotes and affirmations and all of these things. And then I was like, well, who am I really? And this is what I did. I dug out every single assessment I had ever taken, whether it was the disc, whether it was Enneagram, whether it was Strength Finders, and all of these things. But what I decided to do was print them, put them in a binder, and read them as if I didn't know the person. Because I think sometimes we take these assessments that are fun. They're also fun, and it's not my whole being. It's not the end all be all when I read it and it's like your number one strength is learner. But it is still a piece. It's an eye opener. But I decided to actually read every word versus skip it and say, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I was like, okay, what do I do with this information? What do I do with my experience as a CEO? What do I do based on what I really like doing? And oh, by the way, what do I do that I can also make money? I mean, I'm not going to lie, we had built a lifestyle where if I was going to choose to do something different, my income was a part of our lifestyle. So it wasn't like I was just looking to have a new side hobby. And there's nothing wrong with that as well. That's a piece of who we are. But that's what I tactically did because I do get people asking me. I tactically did that. And then I am a quick start, which may be also a gift and a curse all at the same time. But, after I kind of went through this healing journey, luckily for me, I also had a supportive spouse. So I could say to him, hey, honey, I have an idea. And then he could say, oh, wait, let me get a drink. Let me sit down here. Here we go again. You have an idea. And luckily, I have support to be able to say, hey, I think I want to retire from this role where I've been paid a salary and benefits for 10 years. And I want to go start something. I want to go start something on my own. I don't really know what it will be. I do know coaching will be a piece of it because that's naturally what I'm good at. And I knew I could go to the real estate industry and coach realtors. I knew how to help them. But he was okay with it. And so I ripped the Band-Aid and I was like, no guarantee. My salary is 0 because I'm going to go start my own business. And so that's tactically what I did that got me to where For the Love of was born 2.5 years ago.
Well, thank God for supportive spouses. Like
Yeah.
almost every day, I'm like, I'm burning the ships. And he's like, oh, here we go again. No, you're not going to give up.
Yeah.
Because we always face that in entrepreneurship. I feel like this feeling like, you know what? Let's just burn it all down.
Yeah.
Just take it away.
Yeah. We forever have new ideas. Let's be
Right. And we're always, no, maybe this other idea, maybe this other one. But yeah, oh, that's such a great story and a powerful one, right? Of adversity and pivoting and going for where you asked a question. And I think you received an answer. So hitting 6 figures in your first year of coaching after turning 50 is incredible. What mindset shifts or strategies made that possible?
Oh, everything, Linda. So like, first of all, I remember that year, I had always picked a word of the year and I picked the word confidence. And I remember creating a vision board around the word confidence and really what that would mean in starting a new business. Internally and externally, we can say confidence may be how we look or when we do our hair and how our whatever, but it was like I had to internally like really truly believe that I could build a profitable business from day one. So that was the first thing that I did. The second thing that I did is the thing that they, whoever they are, all tell us to do as high achievers, which is mindset related, is that thing called journaling, where I always kind of like, I kind of make a joke around it because I do love a new school supply. Like I even have this fresh notebook. I love a smell of a new fresh notebook and pens and sticky notes. And I had piles and piles of notebooks. And I had always consistently journaled and tried it and tasted it. And I was like, no, you're going to do this. You're going to, every day before you start your day, you're going to write out these 3 prompts. You're going to say you're grateful. So you're going to do your thing because they tell you that this is where you start. So I did that. And then the next thing that I did, if we want to talk tactics, if anybody who's starting like an online business or a coaching business, is I did need to get into action. So it's great. I could do what I considered almost kind of these woo-woo things that we know work, but I also needed to get into action and make money right away. And I had 35 or 37, I'd have to go look up my spreadsheet, like discovery calls with real estate professionals to tell them what I was going to be doing and see if I could find a client. And so that was very uncomfortable, but real. But I will tell you the number one thing that was the most impactful was the journaling. It really, truly was. And that's where my journal for the love of self was born because and then created my own and did my own thing on that. But what had really happened is about 3 weeks into this journaling journey, if you will, I had a girlfriend text me and she just said, "Hey, Kim, I'm looking to create a new habit. I'd really like to, wake up every morning and have a true belief in myself. And I would love for you to hold me accountable to that." And I was like, okay, well, I've been 3 weeks into this journaling thing. Why don't we send each other a picture, right? Let's hold each other accountable because they say that we got to start with our brain and we got to get our wiring right and all of that. My friend Cindy, who had texted me now back then, is 5 years into battling ALS. And so by all means, she should be here today, but she is. And so when she journals, she sends me a picture with her eyes, like she types with an eye gaze on an iPad. And so we started doing this activity together and I started sharing our story of the transformation that she was experiencing and the transformation that I was experiencing. And I was going on the road and I was speaking about it and I was coaching around it and all of these things. And it became a movement. And so little by little, unsolicited, people would send me a picture of their journal entries when I would share her story. And it just morphed into something where I decided when I started For the Love of that I was actually going to listen to the universe, listen to the signs, slow down to speed up versus just going 100 million miles an hour. And that's where I felt called to create a journal and a story around what we were experiencing together. So that's a very long answer to your question.
No, that's so powerful. I mean, I love how, like I said, those traumatic moments, those things that we are facing or life circumstances, they, in a way, challenge us to make the decision of bettering our lives or not. And I think that's what's so powerful about your story is kind of like you're helping people break through and make better decisions in a proven strategy, right? In a proven framework. Flow is all about creating success without sacrificing sanity, right?
Yeah.
Can you share what that looks like in practice for your clients?
Okay, yes. The timing of us having this conversation is beautiful. So I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and right now it is September. It's the month of September, and you may be listening to this in October or November, or maybe even a different month of the year. That's the beautiful part about podcasts. We can listen anytime. Um, but when we get a sunny September or October day in those months, we embrace them. We taste them. We feel them differently than maybe where you're located because it could be 40 and cold those months. But when we get a 70, sunny day, we really want to embrace them. And so this week, two of my coaching clients actually moved our coaching calls because they decided to take a day off in the middle of the week. And I cannot even tell you how proud I was. I was like, yes. And then one of them even said to me, and I'm going to do it without guilt because these are entrepreneurs, whether they're in the real estate space, whether they're 100% commissioners and they own their own financial business, or they're a photographer, or whoever it is that I coach with, like you can work all the time and never have work done. You don't always recognize when you work on a Saturday or Sunday, and then you feel guilty when you take off on a Wednesday because for some reason we still have the mindset of we have to work Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, right? So it's this weird kind of like mindset game that, entrepreneurs have to face. And I was so proud of them. I was as proud of them as when they get a new client and they make more money that they chose to take a day off. And I just like, I just wanted to eat that up. And that's what I mean by, and we say sanity, but I also mean guilt. I mean, like, how can we as entrepreneurs, because we create these businesses so that we have time freedom, but then we never give ourselves permission to have the time freedom. And so I may be the only coach that coaches you to actually take time off or a vacation without your laptop. So that's what it means to me.
Yeah, amen. I can tell you, like, this means a lot to you. And especially like that taking vacation without your laptop. Some people, it's hard to do that, right? Oh no, people need me. I need to get my laptop. Something might happen. So I think that's pretty powerful. And just saying that, like, wow, without your laptop, especially in today's world with social media and everything's being online, I
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
It's the gift and the curse, and we like to call it in the flow community, are you taking a trip or are you taking a vacation? Because yes, the beautiful part is we can work remotely now. Like, let's not ignore that gift that we're in, but you are only disappointed with yourself and your family is only disappointed with you as well if you don't set the expectation. So let's set the expectation that this is either going to be a trip, which means I have the gift of being able to work remotely, or is it a vacation where we're shutting down and we're actually not working? And so we define it. Which one are you doing? And that's just one of the tools that you can put in your toolbox as an entrepreneur.
If a woman listening is juggling motherhood, business, and leadership, and she's exhausted, what's one flow moment she could create today to refresh herself?
Yes, such a good question. First of all, learn to leverage AI. Just don't even get me started. If you ever want to bring me back, we could talk about that on a whole level. Because I am right now super passionate about how can we leverage AI as our assistant, whatever platform you choose. That's one, because you might learn some tools and techniques that you can put into place. I would say the second thing that I talk a lot about with working moms is this idea that, whether we go back to the 1950s when it was the women's movement and now we can work outside the home and we're proud and here we are, we can work too. But there really, and we talk about it now, but there was not a conversation about, well, yes, we're working, but that also means we also don't have to do everything at home as well. It's it it became like I'm going to work outside the home and still do all the stuff inside the home. And my value as a working mom is still doing it all and filling that bucket for ourselves. And it's really honestly learning how to ask for help. And whether it's help from your spouse or it's help from your community, if you're on your own, or it's help from your children and you're teaching them how to be independent from a very young age, it's understanding that your worth is not in doing it all. And I think it might be harder as a woman just because we are psychologically actually wired differently and we do feel good. We feel good when we're the ones that actually make the meal, set the table, clean up the dishes. It fills us in a different way, I think, than men. Um, but then we feel resentful if we're doing it all, yet we're not asking for help. So
Yeah,
ask
I
for help.
yes, we need to ask for help, especially if it's asking for that cleaning lady to come in,
Yeah.
a few times a month. Ask for the help. And you know what? I don't know if it's true, but I read somewhere that for a woman, cleaning up brings her actually less stress, while for a man, cleaning up brings him more stress.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
how.
probably true. We're saying it right here, right now. This is a scientific study between you and I. Yeah, it's true.
No, I heard. Well, it was a scientific. It was a scientific
Yeah.
study that they did, and
Yeah.
that's what they found. But don't quote me on it.
Yeah. No, but I just think the man's brain doesn't think the same. I mean, even for us now being empty nesters, like I'm always thinking ahead. Even now, I'm thinking, what are we going to have for dinner? Should I
Mm,
take something out of the freezer?
yes.
And my husband's like, what? I'm like, what? What? What's happening in your brain right now?
I
Like,
think, yeah, I think they get really focused, right, with work
yeah.
while women multitask,
Yes.
right? And so we're thinking everywhere from our business to the home. Oh, I remember I have to, get that meeting to so and so. Oh, yeah. Oh, is my stove?
Yeah.
Or did I take out the meatloaf? Or,
So true.
or something like that. We're just bouncing everywhere. Even our conversations with our significant other. I know with my conversation with my husband, I'm boop, bing, bang, bing, bang.
Yeah. And we want the details. I mean, my husband was a firefighter for 30 years. Thank you. Yes, I did marry him for his benefits. That's also probably most helpful when you're like, hey, honey, I want to go and start this new job where I make $0. I could say that now because we're going to be coming up on 28 years of marriage. But yeah, even then it was different. Like I would want more details, right? He'd be like, "Oh, so and so had a baby." And I'd be like, "Oh, great. Tell me more. Boy, girl, what's the name? What's the bounce? Whatever." He's like, "I don't know. I just gave you the facts, girl. They had a baby." And so even in that way, I think just recognizing that as much as we can change and grow and so can our men in our lives or our women in our lives, our partners or whoever we have in our lives, we also still think differently. And instead of getting angry about it, how about say something about it? Like speak up about it. Like if we're going to go on vacation and I'm still packing the bag, I'm coordinating who's going to watch the dog, I'm thinking ahead and, he's laying on the floor playing on Netflix or doing whatever he's doing, but the dishwasher needs to be emptied because I'll be stressed out if our kitchen is a mess when we get home. He's not thinking about it. But if I say to him, hey, honey, could you empty the dishwasher? He will. And so I'm not going to be angry and resentful.
Well, that's another way. Like I've been very blessed that my husband helps me a lot. So he's kind of like in charge of the kitchen. So I cook though. He cooks as well. So I mean, we work as a team.
Yes.
But yes, but I think it's kind of like managing. I do notice that he does think differently than I do. And I think embracing each other's differences and that pairs well with each other. We've learned to work, after I think we're going on 15 years of marriage. We learned how to vibe with one another
Yeah.
and what works and what doesn't. And, our weaknesses, hey, babe, right now I'm at, 20% capacity and,
Yeah.
and then he can pick up the slack, or he's low and I can pick up the slack. And I think it's kind of like that juggle. But yes, I think that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
I like to go on vacations, clean the whole house. Also, when I come home, I'm going straight to bed. I'm going straight to the couch. I'm going straight to the bed. I'm not doing nothing else because I know I'm going to
Yeah.
be exhausted from that vacation, right?
Yes. Yes, for sure.
What advice would you give to someone who feels like it's too late to start?
Oh, call me. Like, hello. What am I, 52 now? 53, something like that.
Wow.
It I really truly believe in it, even if you historically did research on other women and at what age they were when they started whatever, you'd be quite surprised at how many women were over the age of 40, even 50, 60, 70. I think it's just a mindset shift around being able to embrace the age that you're in and recognize that everything that came before you happened for a reason, and it brought you to this place to now be able to pull from that experience to be able to create or do whatever it is that you want to do next. And so I don't know. I just don't think there's any. I like to think there aren't any age barriers. I mean, I've been saying it since I turned 50. I say, what do I want to do for the second half best of my life? Because I truly believe that given today's world of, science around our bodies and our energy and how our gut health and all these things that I study as a whole being, I believe I could be on this earth till I'm 100 in a healthy way. Wow. I'm like, holy man, I've got a lot of time here on this earth yet to be able to bring my gift to the world. And
I'm
so, yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, no, that's great. And that's so impactful. I love that because I have friends, because I'm in my 40s, so I have friends in different ranges. And one of my best friends, she's wondering also what to do with her life. So I find like this is a necessary topic, especially me hitting 40. Like I turned 40 this year, and I'm not gonna say the year, just in case. Right? Someone listening back, you're gonna have to research. But it makes me think of like, where I'm at and where I can go. I know in the Bible it says that we can reach up to 120 years of age,
Mhm.
Which I think is like, wow. And I tell my mom, because my mom's in her 60s, and I say, Mom, you can, because she's like a Latina and she's very dramatic. And she plays the whole like, I'm not gonna be here, card,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, hey, treat me good while I'm here. And I'm like, Ma, how about if you're here for 40, 50,
Yeah.
50 more years? Because of what she's going through, certain things that she's going through. She's a hoot. She's hilarious. But I myself face those challenges and like, oh my goodness, am I going to be relevant at this age?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely I've had those moments, don't get me wrong, this is not perfection over here. I definitely do feel that. I picture myself like even, I'm a yogi and I practice a lot of yoga and I go into the, yoga studio and all the beautiful 20-year-olds, and here I am with my, 50-year-old body and whatever, but I actually cannot wait until the day that I'm like 75 or 80 and I'm like in that yoga class and they're like, oh my gosh, look at her. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, at the age of 50 that I'm at now, it does feel sometimes like an invisible age. I mean, it's just me being honest. Like sometimes I do feel that way and I have to do a little bit of a self check. And so I'm not gonna lie, right? As you're entering your 40s, like it definitely as a woman, there are times where I can get caught up in that, and then I just have to realize, no, I'm going to decide what this age means to me, how I show up. And I do have to be okay with that.
I recently came on that because I was doing kind of like an experiment within myself, and I was looking at the videos I was creating, and I said, Linda, who do you want to be? Because you're looking like you don't even know. And I asked myself that question, like, who is it that you want to be? Who is it that you want to impact? How do you want to show up? And especially with my grades coming in, oh my goodness, that was a lot of self-reflection.
Girl, and you're so young. So, it's all about perspective. Let's be honest here. Like, I'm on the other end of menopause, right? Like, I got symptoms and stuff. Do you just wait? Like, girl, here's the beautiful news. Here's the beautiful news, especially for women 40 and older, is now more than ever, the world, the medical field, the integrated medicine world is talking about what we experience as women. And your mom, my mom, and I'm super excited for my daughters at even what they're going to experience. And so, yeah, you're going to experience a lot of change over the next 20 years. But the good news is there's so many resources out there now, and communities and education and all of that, that just like with your podcast, you're creating connection, you're creating community. And that's what you could do as you kind of enter this next phase. So,
Yeah, what I love about the podcast that you mentioned that is what you said, you know, creating community. I think these conversations are so powerful to have because nobody really talks about it. Well, and you're right. Now things are more available for us. Now things are more like if you're going through menopause, there's more resources, there's more support. Even my husband is getting on board with certain things. Like, I
yes,
know, because of, I guess, the information that, because he's also like getting older. And we
yeah,
talk about it a lot. After hitting 40, you talk about a lot about getting
yeah, you do.
older. You never
All the
imagined
things.
you'd hit the age.
Yeah,
And he talks about, I look young, but but I'm old. I don't know if you've seen that audio going around, but he
yeah,
uses that on me a lot because he's 46. And so he's going, he's just like, seeing the changes and what I could possibly go through and stuff like that. And I don't want this age to be an invisible age. And that's one of the reasons why I'm pushing, the envelope, I guess, so to speak, or having these conversations no matter the age. And I'm so thankful that I get to sit down with you, Kim, and hear your story and be impacted by it and learn from you. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get to sit here and learn from a woman that is power in the way she speaks, in the way that she presents herself, and humble and just being down to earth. And I get to have a conversation from you and learn from you, not just me, but also our listeners also, which builds that community. So I just want to thank you for for
oh,
being
well,
here.
thank you. You're the one that's had, like, I don't know, 150 or whatever, how many podcasts, which is like way above the average. Like,
Oh yeah.
you're the one doing the work. I'm just showing up.
But showing up is the work.
That's true. That's true.
Showing up is the work. My next question is, you've achieved coaching high achieving women and through their overwhelm from what they're battling to their confidence. What's one transformation story that stands out in your heart?
So many. I would say one particular client that sticks out is, and I know it's funny because we kind of talked about time off, but this is part of it, especially the industry that I mainly coach in, which is real estate, which is 7 days a week, is her being able to have the confidence in her business. It's the type of business where it's a little bit like my business, where you're really a solopreneur unless you've got a large team. Meaning, if you don't show up, there is no business, right? Like, if I don't show up and coach and speak, like, that's it. I'm the brand, whatever. And so this is the position she was in. She had some virtual assistant staff for admin, but otherwise she's the business. And so first of all, it's starting with the belief that if you decide to go away and take time off, that you're still going to have a business. That's one. And two, how do you prepare for it? Because in the real estate world, everything you do today shows up 90 days later. So you have to be able to embrace the pause if you choose to have it and prepare for it. Okay. Because it's a lead generation type business. And there are other businesses like that as well. And so what she did last year is she took off for an entire month. She's also in Wisconsin and went to Italy. And I was so super proud of her. And it was a transformational moment because she first had to have the mindset piece, right? She had to feel confident about it. And then we had to systematize some things so she could prepare for it. And then she had to decide, okay, if I'm going to go to Italy, remember I talked about the trip and a vacation? We had to have the conversation of what are the expectations that you're setting with yourself and your daughter, who is going to be there for part of the time. And she decided for 2 weeks it was a trip and for 2 weeks it was a vacation. But she got to be in Italy, right? And something happens when you transform your environment from that old Wisconsin here in the United States, right? And you're culturally surrounded by, new ways of thinking. She came back with creativeness and energy for her business because of that experience. And that was transformational. And I love sharing that story about her. I can't wait for her to do it again.
I love the fact that you're giving women permission to take a break. And it's not that we need it, but sometimes we do, right? Sometimes we need someone like, girl, take a break.
Yeah. And it's hard as high achievers because
Yeah.
we're creatives. We have ideas. I mean, I do get energized even if it's a weekend and I'm not really working, but I also at the same time get energized from, reading a book about leadership or self-development or now AI or even about perimenopause or whatever, because we're whole beings. So I'm coaching to the whole person, whether it's their mental, their physical, their work, whatever. And I get energized from that. And then I want to get out the highlighter. And then I want to be like, ooh, I got to coach around this. Oh, wait, now I got to go create an email about this. Wait, no, I got to create a post. And so it's also really hard as creatives because we are actually fulfilled by our work. When we find something we're naturally really good at and fills us up, it's also hard for me not to work all the time. It really truly is because I actually love what I do. That's how you also find out if you found the right thing. So I do have to force myself not to go to that place, knowing that I actually will show up better when I do allow myself some rest and reset. But I'm not going to pretend like it ain't easy. So
I love it. Rest and reset. Rest and reset. Yeah, and I think it's a conversation that many have to have because I have learned in growing my business with little ones, I have learned that the work is always going to be there. But this time with my kids, that's not always going to be there. Time passes really fast. They blink and they're 12 going to middle school. That's my oldest right now. I remember when he was a baby.
you're in the thick of it, girl.
I'm in the thick of it. So my youngest is in first grade and my middle is in fourth grade. So I'm in the thick of it. But I learned that, oh my goodness, this passes really fast. Right now is like realization of how fast, but I'm very thankful. We've always had family trips. We've always made time for vacations. There are moments that when I needed to rest, I just rested because I know that the work will always be there.
Yeah. Well, and it's you recognizing the season or the phase of your life that you're in, right? Without comparison trap. Because you could go on Instagram and see somebody else who knows what they're doing. It could be me. Like I'm a prime example. My kids are 21 and 23, right? And so I'm in a different phase than what you're in. So you're probably not, getting up, and maybe you're getting up early, but you're doing other things, but not everybody is, spending 3 hours in the morning journaling and meditating and doing yoga, right? Get all of those things. Like I didn't do that 10 years ago. And so it's also because we are in such a world of information overload and we're constantly being pulled in and comparing ourselves. It's also recognizing where you are at right now. You're in a different place. I'm in a different place. And so I love that you said that and embrace where you're at right now because you'll eventually get to my phase and then you'll have a little extra time in the morning for yourself if you want.
And I want to talk about it. Since we have some time, I do, because I know our listeners a lot of them are in the thick of it. Some are empty nesters. And if you can speak to us, right, who are in
Yes.
the thick of it, like, like how should we be looking at this moment that we're in? Because a lot of people say, oh, enjoy them while they're young, right? And we do, we enjoy, we're hitting them with kisses and hugs all over the place and spending time. But for
Yeah.
you, looking back, what would you tell yourself?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I probably, first of all, would, instead of making it huge, like I mentioned, 2 hours in the morning or 3 hours in the morning, I would tell myself to take small snippets during the day. So sometimes we think in order to have the reset and the rest, like we talked about, it has to be huge. It's really about what you choose to do daily. So, like some of the techniques are so tiny, they're tiny, like building in small white space, or I'm talking about like 10 minutes here, right? Or the simplicity of eating lunch away from your desk without your phone. Or maybe it's doing what I call the release release. It's where, before you get out of your car and you go into the house, you train your brain that you're transitioning out of work so you can really be fully present. And you're just taking a moment and 5 breaths in your nose and, 5 breaths out, right? And you're just saying release, and you're then setting your intention. Like, okay, my intention is I'm going to walk in the house. I don't matter, doesn't matter how chaotic it is and how I don't even know what I'm going to have for dinner, but I'm going to be present. And so I would say for anybody at your age, when your kids are they need you. They really need you in a different way than when they're babies, right? Is just the little moments so that you can be present.
I love that. That is so incredibly impactful, so incredibly powerful, because what you're saying is, instead of taking a bulk of time, hey, just hit pause, and set your intention. I love it. I'm going to take that.
Yes.
So, Kim, where can people find you?
Yes, please. Well, Instagram is my favorite handle, and that's just at Kim Rogne, KIMROGNE. And then you can all get a freebie from For the Love of Self, which is my journal. If you just go to flowself.com, that's FLO self.com, you'll get it's called a 7-day reset, where I'm giving you everything that you need to reset in just a little workbook for 7 days. And otherwise, you can also go to kimrogne.com as well. And that's it. Keeping it simple.
Amen. I'm going to put those in the show notes. Thank you so much, Kim, for blessing us with all your wisdom and knowledge.
Well, thank you for what you do.